Hey, what's up YouTube? Garotha here. So today's video is going to be a bit different than my normal videos. I'm going to be talking about another game called Torchlight. Torchlight Infinite. They have a new season called the Twinightmare. And I played this over the last couple of days. I'm a pretty new player, so it's the point of view of a relatively new player. I played a little bit in the past, but I've never made it to the end game. I made it to the end game and played around quite a bit actually this league. Yeah, let's talk about it. So as a new player, first off, I want to talk about like my experience with the game, like the UI, how it is to play, like the crafting system, all that good stuff. So the game is actually very easy to understand. They have a lot of built-in tutorials and stuff, and built-in like visual indicators that kind of just tell you what to do and tell you how to do it. Very nice as a new player. You don't really have to look anything up. It's all in the game. There's a lot of information built into the game, like mechanics that you don't know what they do. There's usually a button you can click and it'll tell you exactly what that mechanic does. It has a death recap. So if you die, it tells you exactly what you die to. It's a very nice game in terms of everything you need to know is in the game, basically. Of course, like looking up a guide or something would help you a lot as well, but I didn't really need to do that. I didn't feel the need to do that. They actually do have built-in guides into the game as well, though. Like if you want to like follow a guide as a new player, they have a built-in like recommended like build, basically. If the endgame guide isn't enough for you and you want some more detailed information, there's always the official Maxwell guides. I'll post a link in the description below, but basically they have a ton of leveling guides and also endgame guides on Maxwell, as well as just a lot of useful information. So if you want to delve deeper and look some information up, this is a good option. The UI did take me a little bit to get used to, but everything you can do is keybound. So initially I was like clicking everything. There's a lot of pop-ups. It took me a little while to get used to that. But after a while, I kind of got used to it, and I keybound everything, and everything was pretty easy past that. So it took me a little bit to get into it, but after that, it wasn't like that big of a deal anymore. And the gameplay. So like the gameplay is super smooth. Like the combat's really fast-paced. It's very clean. Whenever you click a button, it happens right away. Very satisfying combat. We had a build where I had basically this popping explosion type mechanic going on. I'll talk about the build later, but that was very nice. It was very satisfying. I'll show you guys some of that in the video. You guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. Yeah, crafting. Crafting was actually quite interesting in this game. It's very deterministic and very easy to get into. Very different from other games I played in the past. You don't really need like a tutorial to get into it. You just basically you find like a base that has good stats on it, like implicit set, and then you get like one good roll on the item, and then you can lock that roll, and then you can reforge it until you get the rolls you want. And past that, you can lock more. You can lock two prefixes or two suffixes. This game has the prefix suffix system, where you can have 3 prefixes and 3 suffixes. So it's pretty easy for me to get into that as well. Yeah, I'll show you guys some crafting. It was not super complicated, very deterministic, and just really nice as a new player. So what's new this season? This season is called the Twinightmare, and it's actually a very unique mechanic. So every zone you run into a lotus, like flower type thing that hasn't bloomed yet. It will spawn a dream, which will basically spawn a bunch of monsters in this like blue area. Like I'll turn the map blue, and you'll run through it. Everything will be blue. You'll kill all the monsters. At the end of the dream, you have like a time limit. Once you kill everything, the dream will end. You'll have an option to choose a bunch of rewards and build towards this nightmare, basically. So you build rewards and you build downsides for the nightmare. Now, eventually, after you do the dreams a couple times, you have a chance to proc a nightmare. And the nightmare is where you'll do this event-like mechanic. It'll turn into a nightmare. You'll have a chance to get all the rewards you built up from the dreams, and all the downsides will be in the nightmare as well. You have this thing chasing you. It's actually quite nice, and it's really, really interesting mechanic. Past that like dream-like mechanic. By the way, you get a ton of loot. Like the loot is insane. It drops so much stuff. It's like loads of fun. Yeah, past that like massive like dream nightmare system, there's also dream crafting. Now this adds a bunch of options. Like you can add an upside to your item, which basically is like a new implicit, or like higher tier rolls, or like better range of the rolls, stuff like that. And then you have a potential downside. It'll add like a downside as well to the item. So one upside, one downside. Very interesting mechanic. I actually got pretty lucky early on. I got like an AoE implicit on my belt. It gave me like, it like doubled my AoE. So like my ground slam ability, which I was using, basically doubled in size. Crazy. Really, really cool mechanic. So let me talk about my character, actually. I'm playing the new character that came out this season called Rosa. Now, Rosa is the newest character. She gains damage through blocking, and she has a hero trait ability that pulls all nearby enemies into this circle of light on the ground. Now, the circle of light also increases the amount of damage that Rosa deals based on your block. And she does a lot more damage in it. So basically, you want to like put your ability down and stand in it and hit the monsters. And it works really well because, like I said, it drags everything in. My specific character scales with something called Trauma, and I'm using the, well, first off, I'm using the ability that I started out with, which is Ground Shaker, I think it's called, which is this sort of slam ability. It has like you attack and it slams the ground and it blows up, and it has like a mini cooldown to it. Like, you can't like just slam over and over again. It has like a slight cooldown, but after like you slam the ground, it'll like blow up everything. And I'm playing it with a thing called Trauma. Now, Trauma is basically a dot which does damage based on your attack, and I've been scaling it that way. I think most people scale it with like the initial hit damage, but I decided to be like a little bit of a hipster, and I went for Trauma stuff, and my build's based all around the Trauma. Now, eventually I got these unique gloves called Praise for Injury, and this made my build like way better, like 500% better. Like, it went from like really fun to like insane, like crazy fun. I started like popping all the monsters. Let's talk about the gloves. So the gloves, basically what they do is they explode traumatized enemies. So what I would do is I would pull all the monsters in, hit the ground, and all of them would just blow up. And it was especially nice for anything that had like big tanky mobs next to like small mobs that just blow them all up. Like the small mobs would die and it would just kill the big mob instantly. It was a load of fun, and it made this really satisfying popping noise. It's just ridiculous. I had a ton of fun with it. Could definitely recommend it. Yeah, in conclusion, this was a ton of fun. I mean, this is a sponsored video, but I really enjoyed the gameplay. I really enjoyed the game. I would recommend this to anybody, honestly. If you enjoy ARPGs, this game is super fun. Combat's very fast-paced, very easy to get into as a new player. Deterministic crafting that isn't really hard to get into. Very easy to respec and try things out, especially early on. And yeah, I mean, nothing but good things to say about the game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys are interested in trying out Torchlight, this is as good a time as any. The new season, Twinightmare, is now live, and I'll post a link in the description below. If you guys want to download that link, it'll help support me. I'll also post a code in the description below. This code will be limited to the first 50,000 redemptions, and this code will give you some endgame goodies. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.